Hey guys, okay, so pardon my appearance. I have been a little bit busy doing all sorts of projects this week, but today I'm really happy because I actually got my Raspberry Pi 2.0, um, which is for those of you who don't know, a little device that basically is a computer. It's a little card size computer, and I'll show you it a little bit later. But I just wanted to explain a few things about the Raspberry Pi. For those of you who don't know about the Raspberry Pi, you need to Google it up, and you will have, you'll find more information about the Raspberry Pi. And I'm nearly certain that you will like the project. So what you need to do, what I wanted to explain was the different types of Raspberry Pis. So the first original Raspberry Pi was kind of really lame, so to speak. The first Raspberry Pi was called the Model A version. The Model A version came with 256 megabytes of RAM. It was Linux based. It is still in Linux based. So it allows you to run whatever SSH, etc. console. You could even do a little bit of graphical user interface stuff, but it was slow. I think I think there was something like 600 megahertz or something. So it wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. So that's how people started off the project, and it was used for basically it's an affordable way of teaching children how to program. That was the intention. And then they came out with Raspberry Pi version B, Model B, which was a 512 version of the Raspberry Pi, and essentially it allows you to it has USB ports on it, and it has a HDMI port, so it allows you to display to the screen and also to use a mouse and keyboard. And it has GPIO, which is for it basically controlling peripherals, so you can add on peripherals to it and control it, switch on lights, switch off lights, etc. So that's what the Raspberry Pi is. But I actually used the B plus version, and it was a bit slow in terms of the browser. Was when you try to use a graphical user interface, like to move your mouse, to type on the keyboard, to you actually use a browser on the screen, it was really slow and annoying. So I was hoping and praying that they would come out with a new one, and they actually did come out with a new one. And the new one, thank goodness, has 1 gig of RAM, which is great for applications, and also has a quad-core CPU. And that was really what I was waiting on, because it is such a good, it's so small, it's just such a good system to use to a small system that doesn't take up a lot of space. It doesn't even require a fan to run, which is so great. The power usage is so low that it's worth the processing power to have that low power usage. Remember, when you have a computer on and it's running day and night, it uses a lot of power. But by using a Raspberry Pi as a replacement for a computer, you are dropping the energy bill by a lot. So I want to show you guys what the Raspberry Pi looks like, and I'm going to unbox it in a sense. So bear with me while the camera shakes a little bit while I'm showing you guys it. Alright, so this is the latest one that I got. You can see Raspberry Pi Model B, and I paid $400 and something. Yes, so you understand. It's not cheap, but it's not, not expensive either when you think about the whole entire thing. Now, as you can see here on the box, it comes with a quad-core Broadcom BCM283536 CPU with 1 gig of RAM. Comes with the GPIO and microSD slot, so it allows you to put microSD in. And I believe it was I thought it was a an SD card, but apparently it's a microSD. Alright. And it comes with 4 USB ports, a HDMI port, an audio output, a composite port, so if you want to hook up to one of those old TVs, and a CSI camera port and display port. And of course, MicroUSB power source. Now that doesn't mean it comes with an adapter. You have to buy an adapter separately, as far as I know. So, this was bought at Element 14, which is the official Raspberry Pi store. So if you need to if you need to order one, it's about 35 US to 40 US, and then when you have to ship it on to where I am, which is in Trinidad, it is a lot, well, at least $100 or so to clear. And probably at $10 US again to also ship it to Trinidad. So you get an idea. So let's unbox this thing now. It's amazing how small this thing is. The booklet is larger than the actual Raspberry Pi, and you'll see as I show you how small this thing is. This is fitting in the palm of my hand, and this is basically a machine. This is good enough to be a low-end computer, but good enough to run some serious applications. Now, I don't really want to touch the Raspberry Pi too much because it's brand new. And the cool thing is that you could also buy you could buy enclosure boxes for it. It's really small, as you see. Look at the size of my thumb and look at the size of this thing. And let me just spin it around. I am left-handed, so this is going to be a little bit difficult. Let's see how it works. So as far as I can tell, I believe this is the processor. The thing I'm pointing at there, that's the processor. There's an HDMI port, if you see it there. Yeah, a HDMI port. There's that little power port at the left hand side. The middle is the HDMI, and then there's this audio port, normal stereo jack audio port. Comes with a LAN port for USB, and that was cool because the previous versions were only 2, and you want enough USB ports to do like Wi-Fi and all those different cool stuff. And these are the this is the GPIO pins, which you can use. You could hook up relays to this and whatnot, but you have to know how you do it. So you need to have a little bit of knowledge of electronics to do that part. I haven't really set up the relays per se. What was cool is, so you see, what's cool about this is that it actually really does need a microSD card, which is nice. Instead of the full-size SD card. So that's kind of cool, and that's kind of new. I'm really hoping to test out the quad-core. So that's essentially what the Raspberry Pi is. Now, the cool thing, as I said, and I have to flip the camera again. The cool thing about the Raspberry Pi is that it runs on Linux, a special Linux called Raspbian, which is based on Debian, and the latest version is Debian Wheezy. So the cool thing about Debian is that it's extremely stable. So you can expect that the Raspberry Pi won't crash or just all of a sudden give out kernel panics. It's really good. I haven't ever had a crash per se other than using the wrong power source for it, like bad adapters and stuff like that. So essentially, it's excellent. So I will give you another update when I actually have it running, and to tell you if it's really as fast as they say it is or not. Now, you have to compare this to like, your cell phone, like a Samsung cell phone. This is basically like in terms of the processing power, it should be around the same thing. So that's cool in terms of like if you compare it with like a Samsung Note 2, which also has a quad-core processor. So this thing could eventually run things like Android, and I heard Windows 10. It was going to support Windows 10 soon. So I'm really looking forward to see it. So you could probably give me some comments, subscribe to my channel so you could see more cool stuff like this, and thank you very much for viewing my video. Bye bye.